Are you saying that in the line of business, the fact that you are an attractive woman and that you're well dressed and the way you look has actually stood in your way?
Yes, I would say that.
Tell me about the size of the business right now.
This year we will be we'll be doing 100 CR in revenue. It's been a wild year. I think the hardest yet most beautiful thing about running a business in India is the jugaad. The whole world says Indians are price sensitive, price sensitive, price sensitive. It's true. But if you go one layer deeper, they're value sensitive. They're not just price sensitive. So they're happy to pay for something if they know they're going to get a value out of it.
Have you found that the startup world in India is a boys' club?
Depends on the industry. I think beauty is a bit more female, although maybe leadership positions even within beauty will be men. But apart from that, yeah, I'd say so. It's still very much a man's club. Meditation comes from yoga, but we didn't believe it until it was science-backed. So same with Ayurveda. India's mission was to science-back it and make it modern so that it doesn't get lost in the next generation.
Tell me that conversation where you called to say,
Yeah.
Mamiji, I'm quitting college to be a fashion influencer.
Blogger, it was called back then. Blogger, even.
Deepa, thank you so much for making time to hang out with me. And there's
Always
so many,
such a pleasure.
there's
Always.
so many things about your story that I find fantastic. But for our audience who don't know, you grew up in India and you now run this fantastic brand. But tell us that story. Tell us how you got here.
Yeah. So born in Delhi, to a small, beautiful family, 3 kids. I was the middle one, and Punjabis. And what happened at one point was mom and dad decided to move to the south, put us in this amazing boarding school. So I think from there, at 18, I had the chance to study abroad on a scholarship. So I moved to the Netherlands to go to university. So that was my first out of India moment and out of this protected world moment. And then after that, I took a gap year, did an internship in the ICC in The Hague. So I studied law. So I was very looking forward to doing the internship there. It was fantastic. I mean, working at the International Criminal Court is, and for a international law student, that was a dream. But after that is when I had about 4 to 6 month break before I would move to London to do my master's. And that break, in hindsight, changed the course of my life. So that is where I did an internship at a quote-unquote fashion agency.
Why?
Because I think I'd been an academic for so long. There was a part of me that was creative, that did enjoy fashion. And I thought, now or never. Like, this is my break moment. This internship fell in my path because my brother knew the founder of that company. And so I said, I'm going to get back into my books in about 6 months. Let's do this. Let's try. And it turned out being one of the first influencer agencies in Europe, period. Like, when the media landscape was changing, like when Instagram had come out, when YouTube's heydays were starting. So it was just about to explode. And even the title of an influencer wasn't really there yet. Like, I don't even know what we called them. I think they were literally university-going girls in Europe who started building a following on Instagram. And there were brands on the other side that were starting to experiment with this whole thing. And I was in the middle of it all. Like, I remember closing a deal from Mango, the fashion brand, for Chiara Ferragni. Do you know her? She was one of the original, like, old school Italian influencers. And in the middle of it all, I'm like, this is insane. Media is going to change the way we know it. And I had the front seat watching it. And so I think at that point, very quickly, even though I went to London to continue education, I couldn't shake it off. I'm like, I feel like I know a secret and I've seen the future and I have to do something about it, because there's going to be like ordinary people who, if they understand how to do content, how to kind of talk to people, they can build impactful audiences. And you could actually do impact on the world more than I could as a human rights lawyer. At that point, I was 21. I was like, I think I need to jump on this now.
Okay, I have to stop you there. You just said that you could do more impact on the world as an influencer than you could do as a human rights lawyer. But you must ask what kind of impact.
Yes, of course. And I think as a 21-year-old girl, when I saw my life pan out, I saw like I would have to study at least for another 6-7 years until I would be a junior lawyer at a firm, or before I could even get to become, a lawyer at a court. And like the entire lifespan was at least another 10-15 years to be able to be on a case where you would have a direct impact that would impact human beings. While in this one, where I saw is, hey, Deepa, if you can get 1 million followers of women where you directly speak to, whether it's mindsets, whether it's, how they consume a certain thing, or like in the few instances in my journey where things have gone viral, they've touched a deeper chord of how a woman is treated, how a woman feels. And so indeed, it's not impact in the way of a criminal case, but it's impact in the way of you can change mindsets. And here's you directly communicating with them. And I think at that age, I did the math very quickly. I'm like, this path sounds like something where I could build something that would be mine and build something at a faster rate. And indeed, with my NGO, with whatever I do in the future, could impact 1 million people perhaps, versus many years of education and slogging yourself until you get to a level where you could work on something.
So you dropped out?
I dropped out.
Oh, you dropped out of your master's?
I dropped out of my master's, yes.
Okay.
That's still a sore point for my mom and dad.
I can imagine.
Till today.
What was that? Tell me that conversation. Were you called to say,
Yeah.
Mamiji, I'm quitting college to be a fashion influencer?
Blogger, it was called back then. Blogger, even. And so, yeah, it was many conversations, not just one. And my mom was like, absolutely not. You're ridiculous. Like, you're going to finish that. We've worked way too hard in our life to get you where you are. Exactly. It was a scholarship, but still, like, they were paying for my life in London. And it was just absolutely not a question. And I really, really had to, with my best debate skills, convince them, I see something, you need to trust me. Like, this is going to be big.
Because any Indian parent would have argued, better finish the course and then do it.
So I literally, she said the same thing. She said, just finish it. It's another 7-8 months and then you can do it. And for me, it was just, the iron was hot now. The window of opportunity was now. And I could see it around me, and I knew if I wouldn't have the first mover advantage of being that Desi, of being that Indian, I knew in 8 months, this is moving way too fast. I wouldn't have that. And so a little bit of my business head was clicking, like, you have to do it now. And especially if I, in my head, mentally had carved out a future for myself within this new landscape, why am I waiting? Like, I know what it could lead to. And I think I've always had that very clear vision of what I've wanted to be. And I think when that vision came in that moment, there's nothing that was going to stop me. So I just had to convince my parents and in fact, I did convince her to the level that mom became my first investor. So she gave me 200 euros at that point to kind of use that money to buy my first set of like clothes. Because back then there was this website called Lookbook. And in Lookbook, what you did was post images of your outfit. I didn't have money to buy so many outfits. Like, I was a broke student in London. So mom was like, all right, here's 200 euros. You can go buy yourself an outfit. So, but I knew I couldn't keep getting 200 euros. So I used that money to keep the tags on, buy the outfit, return it in pristine condition, and then recycle the money to buy another outfit and another outfit until I made my first paycheck.
From where you came from, you were studying law, you were interning at the ICC.
Yeah.
You were studying to be a barrister. As a woman or as a young girl, you get treated a certain way. You're serious. You're studying a serious thing. You're studying to become a serious thing.
Yeah.
And then you become, what at that time was a fashion blogger.
Right.
Which then became an influencer.
Right.
Many years before you decided to start your own business. Was there a massive change in the way people treated you?
Absolutely.
Like okay, these bloggers are just ditzies who are putting on outfits.
I
They were
didn't want to say the word myself. That is literally what I've been called many times. And I think even, so first it was my own extended family and friends where they were like, what, is she not smart anymore? Like, what happened to her? Why is she going into this thing? Then it became, in a few years later, my husband, who was a diplomat at the time, all his friends, who were, of course, also diplomatic friends, would have this opinion of me before they met me that, oh, some ditzy influencer is going to come meet us. Then years after that, when you build a business, you're fundraising because you look a certain way or you dress a certain way or you've been on covers of Vogue, people have this opinion of you. And most recently, even after people heard me on the other podcast, some of our team members is plus ones or husbands come up to me and be like, oh, we thought you were just the face of India Wild. We didn't know you actually did anything in the business. So I think being underestimated has been a red thread through my life. And I think as women as well, people, like, their brain doesn't comprehend that glamour and beauty and creativity and fashion could go hand in hand with intelligence, intellect, or...
Are you saying that in the line of business and running your own business and raising investments and, being treated like you actually do the job that you do, the way you look, the fact that you are an attractive woman and that you're well dressed and the way you look has actually stood in your way to some extent?
Yes, I would say that. Yes, I think because of the underestimation. Because I think we've all been raised to have this certain view of women. There's two types of women. There's the glamorous, beautiful, maternal, I guess, female energy woman. And then if you're not that, then you can be the intelligent, politically inclined, smart businesswoman. And that the two have, at least we until now haven't even seen role models that bring the both together. So I think men, women equally, for us, we underestimate a woman and judge her immediately. If she's either one of the two, can she not be one of the other as well? And that dichotomy has been my life. Like, I've had to go against that since I guess my early 20s.
Have you found that the startup world in India is a boys' club?
Depends on the industry. I think beauty is a bit more female, although maybe leadership positions even within beauty will be men. But apart from that, yeah, I'd say so. It's still very much a man's club. The worst one once was when I came into a boardroom once, somebody asked me to bring coffee.
And you were in that boardroom as what?
Like I said, I went from like coming out of university to having and being an influencer to doing India Wild. So it was early days of India Wild where I guess they didn't know how I looked or who I was, and they thought I was a receptionist. Yeah. And I think it's fascinating, like, why can a well-dressed woman in a boardroom setting not be the founder of the company, you know? Yeah, we've come a long way, but a long way to go.
Yeah, there would always be, I remember, and I was also among sharply younger than the men in the room and also a woman. And so they would ask me to order the coffee before a meeting started, or to, place the lunch order, or can you call so-and-so?
Because you would be better at it.
Or, you know that thing where it's someone's birthday and they cut cake and they expect the woman to like cut slices and hand it out to everybody. It's just that sort of like micro sexism.
Yeah. That's true. That still exists.
That is I find it very sharp, and I find it very telling.
Yeah.
In our
I think our company culture is very different. Nitya will agree with it. We're 95% women.
Yeah.
The men, I think, feel a bit out of place, and I know, but they're great. And I think it's just, we have phenomenal, strong, smart women in leadership, women taking the lead, and it's like the honor of my life to work in this very strong team with amazing women. And I also think hierarchy is something we really had to fight within India. Like Oleg and me, Yeah, he's of course Dutch, so let's take that for granted. But I think in the beginning we had people who really had a hierarchy problem as well. But we really are like, even our intern should have the obligation to dissent, like have the obligation to dissent. Like if you see something's not going right or something that you don't agree with, you have to come to us, and tell us that this is not working. So I think we've built a pretty awesome work culture.
I think that when there are women leaders and actual leaders who are making decisions, they automatically tend to hire more women. They tend to give those women more agency. And then the tone of the entire organization changes.
Totally.
As opposed to a lot of old school structures where you're just filling in numbers for the sake of filling in numbers. Oh, we need to have so many women, but those women have no agency. And so they're not able to change anything.
Yeah. And also, not to compare, but I do think, at least in my experience, women work harder and women are like out there to kind of, do more and be more.
They have a point to prove.
Yeah, exactly. They have a point to prove. And you see that in the way they work. And in my experience, at least, men are a bit more laid back.
Tell me, for anyone who's sitting with an idea at home, how do you take this idea that, okay, there's Ayurveda, we have to preserve it for the next generation, to here is a product?
Yeah.
What is that journey where you decide what we're going to make, you decide what it's going to look like, and how do you actually make your first product?
So I think with India World, it was really, really, I know it's become a buzzword now, community-driven, community-based, but we truly were. Like,
Okay. What
it
is that
started, like, as in you ask your community what they want. And I had taken 8 years at that point to build a community, right, of followers online. And I was talking to them all the time. So during the pandemic years, I did 30 focus groups where parts of my audiences were invited to come on a Zoom call for sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours. And we would ask them everything. We're like, what is your current skincare routine? What are you lacking? What are your concerns? What are your skin and hair concerns that are not being met within the grander beauty space? Do you feel seen? Do you not? So like from a branding, product, problem solving, every aspect was really broken down and questioned and tallied. And then we made our decisions based on that. So the first product, the AM and PM serum that we launched, was unanimously created because people said we don't have a good serum that takes care of hyperpigmentation and sunspots and, scarring, acne scarring. And so it was so unanimous that that problem was not solved for with the products on the shelf, either in India or in the US, that we had to build it. That was like a no-brainer for me. Even though I didn't struggle with that much hyperpigmentation myself, it's not the Diipa brand. It was about what they wanted. And so building those first two products was really based on that. Then the Ayurveda piece for me is mom was a dermatologist who then became an Ayurvedic doctor because she wanted a complementary medicine within her life, because she was like, why do people have to pick one or the other? I think there's merit to both, because Ayurveda becomes a lifestyle. It becomes a pre-disease kind of longevity system. And medicine becomes when you just have the disease, you need it, So combining the both gives you a very holistic life. So I grew up with that. Like that dichotomy was just in my upbringing. Whether it was mom's Grey's Anatomy books, at the same time her making kashayams in the kitchen, that was my life. So I think when it came to building a beauty brand, when I saw how well that worked on my acne personally, and I just didn't see it in beauty shelves around me, it was an immediate aha moment. I'm like, if we can take the best of Ayurveda, science back it, add to it the best of chemistry, clinically prove the entire system, customers would believe it because there's something rooted in it, something they know. Nani and Dadi have told me, use haldi in yogurt, put it on your face, it's great for brightening. So there's that rooted, deep wisdom part of it. And then there's the clinical backing, which makes it very modern and believable. Like we all, like meditation comes from yoga, but we didn't believe it until it was science backed. And now we're like, oh yes, meditation's amazing because it's science backed. And we can see it on an MRI scan that it helps you. So same with Ayurveda. India's mission was to science back it and make it modern so that doesn't get lost in the next generation.
So when you say science backed, are you lab testing? What are you doing?
Yes. So both. So whether it's taking turmeric and then adding vitamin C to it to make it supersonic strong for brightness. So most Ayurvedic brands will just have turmeric. Most dermatology brands will just have vitamin C. We take both. So that's one aspect of it. The second is then taking it to a clinical independent lab and clinically testing it on real skin. So you, like for our AM serum, we had 43 participants that, started T0 as day one before anything, then used our vitamin C serum for 28 days. And there was an immediate reduction in the pigmentation in their skin by 30%. So that's really clinically backing that product, that we're not just fluff and like some herbs are put into a bottle, but that this is really a strong, potent serum that will solve your problems. And I think that gives the current Gen Zers and the current millennials who really crave that science backing, like kind of validity to a product, they get that, but they get that rooted Indian wisdom as well.
Tell me about the size of the business right now. Like, what kind of sales are you doing? I read revenue growth of 400%.
Yeah, this year we will be we'll be doing 100 CR in revenue. And yeah, it's been a wild year, and we also got an investment from Unilever Ventures, from their global office, which is such a vote of confidence. And I think the brand is killing it on Nykaa, on Tira, and we're just so happy that it's, specifically the Chumpy hair oil is become a cult favorite in the country. Yeah.
Are you currently on just capturing the market? Is profitability part of your plan at all?
So I think profitability is part of our plan for next year. I think at this point, what we're doing is like phase one of a business is just figuring out product market fit. I think we've done that now. There's definitely our key products are loved by the consumer. So that is phase one. Then phase two becomes you need to try to scale it as much as possible so that it reaches as many households as possible. And so now what happens after that is during this phase, what we've been really working hard on is getting the business fundamentals right. So what does your margins look like? How do your operations work? Like, are all those things healthy? Because once that's healthy, then you can look at profitability. And I think for us, we're looking at a mid next year profitability. I think in India, we've already done a few months of profitability. But for us, Sephora US, that's happening next year, is a beast of its own. Like, that's going to require a lot of investment, a lot of marketing, a lot of getting your name out there and beating on the drum again and again. And that requires capital.
Yeah.
So that's why I think because of this big retail move in the US, the profitability has moved a bit.
Just pushed a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell me about influencer marketing, because, I mean, you're native
Yeah.
to influencer marketing. And right now, obviously, we're seeing, at least I personally see, money moving away from traditional media completely into the influencer space. But there is a lack of credibility. It's not, it's not being handled as well as it could be handled. If you were to look as a brand who's spending money, where is that, where's that market going?
Absolutely. It's a fascinating topic, actually, because even just yesterday something happened that I'll share with you. But I think the Indian influencer market has exploded. We all see the numbers. We see how well creators are doing. But at the same time, especially within beauty, I think there is a lack of integrity within the influencers. And what I mean by that is, I think because I made this mistake myself when I was younger sometimes, is when you see the dollar bills and you see how easily sometimes perhaps you get it, you end up doing brands that maybe you don't believe in. And what that does is it's like a domino effect to then you doing something that your audiences don't trust you on.
Yeah.
And then when the audiences don't trust you, the next time you do something maybe that you genuinely care about, they start questioning it. And if enough people in the industry start doing that, they ruin it for each other. So yesterday, we had a paid deal go out by a beauty influencer called Global Beauty Finds. Her name is Aisha. And she is phenomenal in how honest she is. Like, constantly, her entire thing is about, I'm going to be honest. If I take a paid deal, I will tell you clearly. If I don't, I will tell you clearly. And she has been a supporter of India Vault for 3 years. In fact, she made our lip balm quite viral when she took it to Iceland, and it helped her chapped lips. And so, like, she's really been a promoter organically for very long. This time, for the first time, because I also wanted to give her that thanks, I'm like, we love you, and please use our shampoo and conditioner. See if you like it. She reported back, I love it. Then I said, let's pay you. Like, you've done so much for the brand. Let's this time pay you for you to talk about how much you love it. So when that video went out, and it's clearly on top, paid partnership, clearly in the bottom, hashtag paid, people started double guessing the whole partnership, you know? And like, she is one person that really has that integrity. And even her community starts double guessing, like, oh, if this is such a good product, why did you get paid for it? Why didn't you talk about it without the money? And then the other side is like, oh, the fact that you got paid for it, that means it must be a shit product. So I think it just starts creating this kind of really bad ripple effect for other beauty creators as well. And I think people need to come together and really just get integrity back into the whole thing.
How would you solve for that?
How would you solve for that?
As a brand that's communicating, and largely a brand that will use influencer marketing, because that's the nature of your product, right? How would you solve for that problem?
I think from a brand's perspective, being transparent about it, talking about it, like the fact that Aisha actually called out this on her stories as well. So from a brand perspective, we are usually a very communicative brand. We're a very transparent brand, and people know if we work with somebody, we work with them for that credibility and for that authenticity. And I think recently, I don't know if you saw the whole SPF scam that happened online. That again has created so much of noise within the beauty space of like, can I trust him? Can I trust her? Like, what is going on? So I think influencers need to really communicate more openly to their audiences, saying, you need to trust me that I will not promote something I don't believe in. And if I do promote it, I believe in it. And also, I need to pay the bill, so I do need to do a paid deal here or there. You know, so I think it's that understanding and communication that needs to become more open.
I think also there's a mismatch of people who spend now, I think, upwards of 4 hours on social media doom scrolling.
Yeah.
Still don't realize that the content they're receiving is 100% a day job.
Yeah.
For the person who's putting out that content.
Yeah.
You still want to believe that this is this person's actually earning somewhere else. This is an informal, genuine thing that I'm receiving. And I think that might actually be a tripwire of the platform itself, of social media. People receive that information with a far more open mind. And then when they see the paid tag, they suddenly like, oh my God, all of this was a lie to begin with. And I think that is, it's really fascinating. One of the things that I find fascinating is the whole trad wife content space.
Absolutely.
Where these women are pretending that you have to homemakers, they stay home and they're just baking all day, cooking from scratch with their perfect hair. But that's the job. That's a day job. You are not you're not stay home, because putting out content is a job. Making money.
I mean, I think you and I understand that, because we know how many hours it takes to like create the content, edit the content, post the content, think of the strategy behind the content, that it is a full-time job.
Yeah.
Full-time job. And I think indeed more respect where respect's due as well. That they're not just girls with flashy handbags, like traveling to meet
I mean, they look like girls with flashy handbags on purpose.
Exactly.
I think that's the important thing for people to realize. And somehow you're okay with your newspaper having 4 pages of advertisements before they tell you the news.
Right.
But you're not okay with a paid partnership. And I think it's a really interesting space right now, because brands and content creators and the audience will have to figure out a grammar for this, because
I think we can look at the West for a little bit, because they're a little bit few years ahead in this space. And what you do notice is there people really, really, really thrive on trying to be authentic as much as possible, whether it's TikTok authenticity. Like, there's this whole trend of influencer now, where the influencers, So the influencer is not trying to influence you, but they're basically living their life in the most normal, organic way. And they just happen to have a product placement there. So it's not this one does this and this for your eyes and a lot, but it's more like they're getting ready to go out and they just use your concealer or lip balm and then quickly are like, oh my God, this one just changed my life. Like in a very easy way instead of like really trying to influence you.
Yeah, but that's a grammar also that brands will have to understand, because normally what happens in most of those deals, there is the deliverables. Like, you have to show my product, you have to talk about my product, you have to hold it up to the camera.
So especially I think a lot of the old school brands, till today I get product briefs. I'm like, guys, I understand my audience. Let me do it, please, in a way that would be genuine. But their bosses and everyone up the hierarchy has a very clear mandate that she must say, life is life or whatever.
And the grammar, right? Just the words, like, nobody talks like
Too robotic.
Yeah, nobody talks like, nobody uses these words. It's not going to make any sense. People, and what I love about social media is I have to keep explaining, even to my team and to people we do business with, that as soon as you use a complex sentence, especially because we write, right? As soon as you use a
You've
complex,
lost the audience. You've lost them.
right?
Yeah.
And so, and this is a really great example because my team and I put out this sort of swipe story about the World Cup that the women just won. Jemima Rodriguez and her knock in the semifinals. And the text said, Jemima Rodriguez's knock powered the team into the finals of the ICC, which is true. Because of her innings, we went into.
Right.
But on Instagram, people are just going like that, right? So you just pick up 3 words. You're actually not reading the whole sentence.
Your attention span.
Your attention span is so tiny. So people are just reading finals of the ICC and then promptly, with a great level of indignation in the comment section, hey, you got this wrong.
Yeah.
It's the semifinals, not the finals. You will check your stuff. And I was like, you need to read a full sentence.
I worry for our kids.
I do worry for our kids. Yeah. But what you said about social media is really interesting. And this is really something I think a lot of young people need to understand, that not everybody puts up the messy parts on social media.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to scroll through Instagram before you go to bed at night and think that everybody has a better life than you.
Yeah. Everybody has it figured out.
Everybody has it figured out. Everyone's hair's perfect. Everyone's business is doing well. Everyone's kids are perfect, or whatever it is. It's not true.
It's really not true.
It's not true.
It's really not true. And I think it's also just human nature. Like, as much as I feel like we could put out more of the vulnerable side and the other side, you also just don't want to be a negative Nancy. And you just don't want people to like constantly post out, like, look at how hard life is, So from my perspective, I usually post something that was an obstacle or a failure in hindsight.
Have there been struggles though? Has there been failure?
Oh my God. Yes, of course. I think in personal life, in living in, different countries my whole life, in India, while there's one big, like, as an entrepreneur, I've said this before, but as an entrepreneur, getting hit with obstacles at the pace, velocity, and amount that you do is the job. That is the job, is dealing with obstacles on a daily basis. And some are bigger, of course, and some are smaller. But I think a good entrepreneur is somebody who can deal with failures and obstacles and figure it out.
Was there ever one day, one dark night where you were like...
I think it was a moment where our finance director told us that we only had runway left for 3 months. So that means enough money for the company to go on in 3 months. And usually a fundraise takes courting, like showing them the business, then you get a term sheet, then you do due diligence, and then the contracts are done, everything is discussed, and then finally the money comes in the bank. So the whole process can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. And so that was a moment for Oleg and me. It was really like, we need a miracle. Like, we need this to happen. And it was... I don't like pointing fingers, like, why didn't we know earlier? How did it get to this point and all of that? But I just think Oleg and I are much better business people for it as well. Like, we now know what metrics to check, when to check them, how to check them. And he's an ex-diplomat. I'm an ex-law student. Like, we've never done a business together, but I think that 1 year, through its toughest year, I feel like we did an MBA. Like, we learned so much. And now the fundamentals of business are solid. And that is what I think that year had to happen for.
What is the hardest part about running a business in India? Having lived in so many different countries, your co-founder is not Indian, so he's got an outsider's perspective on, hey, why is this way?
I think the hardest yet most beautiful thing about running a business in India is the jugaad. I think with jugaad, you can do things last minute and you can fix things quickly. But the jugaad also is stressful.
I do want to talk to you about, the whole personal care, skincare space that you're in. Your competitors are Kama, Forest Essentials. That's where you place yourself?
So I don't call them competitors.
Okay.
I call them brand friends. But yes, I
With
think
friends like these, okay.
But I think, and they're legacy brands, like they've done a phenomenal job. And I think, so in the Ayurveda space, I think, yes, we would be similar to them. But because India, while it sits in this intersection of Ayurveda and chemistry, I think on the chemistry side, I think it'd be more global brands like Laneige, Innisfree, and those Korean brands specifically. And then within Ayurveda, it's Kama and Forest. And of course, like the other legacy brands like L'Oreal, Estee are also.
So in India right now, and for the longest time, skincare was either about fairness or it was about makeup. Very late, we got sunscreen and we started looking at moisturizers and serums and all of these other things. But it's largely still about margin compression.
Yeah.
About like, oh, here is a sale for Diwali and here is a sale for New Year's and here's a sale for something else. Have we come out of that?
I mean, I think what I have learned about the Indian consumer, and I think when I understood them, I respected them more, is because the whole world says Indians are price sensitive, price sensitive, price sensitive. It's true. But if you go one layer deeper, they're value sensitive. They're not just price sensitive. So they're happy to pay for something if they know they're going to get a value out of it. Like, they just don't want to be cheated.
What does that mean for a brand? So what does that mean for you on the other side of the
coin? So for a brand, like, again, if we were to, in the country of hair oils, launch a hair oil, like, nobody would have given me 2 cents for this. But in the country of hair oil, launch a hair oil, price it 850 rupees, where they could buy any other hair oil for 200, 250. People would be like, it's not going to work. Your market is too niche. It's the 1%. Nobody's going to buy it. Today, I mean, I think we're nearing selling 1 million bottles of that oil.
It's really fascinating for me because people who are becoming conscious of using natural products are just, I mean, in every Indian home, just going back to the organic cold press coconut oil.
I think indeed the price is one thing that people could question it, but that's what I mean about value. If you tell them the reason behind that price and you don't cheat them off it, they're willing to pay for it. And we've seen it in our own brand. Like, when they know it's got 16 ingredients organically sourced and every part of the supply chain is taken care of, nobody's underpaid, there's no child labor, the packaging is of a high quality, it's made with the highest standards of, we sell this in the EU and the US, so if it's FDA approved, EU approved, and clinically trialed. And so when people are like, I trust this product, then they will pay for it because they know you're not making money out of them. You know, you're actually, the product is going to help them. And then the final one is when they actually see their hair grow out, when they see their hair get shiny, when people with, postpartum get that hair out, then they're like, I'm sold. I believe in the values of the company. I've seen the results come out. And then you have a customer for life.
And what's the room for growth in your calculation in that sort of premium personal care, premium hair care, skincare space?
So, I mean, if you look at consumer as an overall kind of pie, India has the fastest growing consumer market. Within consumer, if you double click, beauty is the fastest growing category. Within beauty, if you double click, premium is the fastest growing category. So I think like if you would talk to me 3 years ago, this is again, I've heard from VCs and other founders, is that a DTC brand in the premium category in India could max to up to 300 CR at like its best. Right now, that's already at 600 CR. And this is just D2C, like digital. So I'm not even talking about being in shops, stores, or offline. This is just an online business. Today, easily you could do 600 CR just online in the premium category. And the growth rate, that is the exciting part. It's like the growth rates have beaten everything what people, like the same McKinsey's and the BCG and the Bains who predicted the Indian beauty market said that by 2025, we would be at 25 billion. We're already at 28 billion. So it's just the pie is getting bigger faster.
Yeah.
And within that, premium is the most exciting segment.
So, I mean, you started off with skin and hair, and now you've got lip. But the hair oil is your champion product.
Yeah, so we started off with skin. Lip sits within skin for us. So we are still skin and hair predominantly. And indeed, in India, our Chumpy hair oil and our lip balm are the two heroes. In the US and UK, the vitamin C serum and the Chumpy hair oil are the two heroes. So it's a little bit what per country
And what's
that
next?
gets into. Next is Sephora US. I mean, it's the biggest thing that the team's been working towards, and it's scary. It's uncharted territory. It's little old us trying to take the big leagues, and sitting next to, like, even yesterday I got a photo from our Sephora UK team where our end cap, which is like where the beauty shelves are, we're sitting right next to Rhode. So like that is like the big leagues. It doesn't get bigger than that, sitting next to Rare Beauty and Fenty Beauty and Huda Beauty and Rhode. So I think it is for an Indian brand, and specifically for us, it's something the team has been working very hard towards. So,
At Strategy, we've seen other brands do it. Other homegrown Indian brands do a quick sort of fanning out of products. So you start with one, it does well, and now there are 20. You've not done that.
no.
You've stayed with I mean, you've got sizes of the same thing,
Yeah.
but you've stayed
Yeah.
very sort of tight.
Very tight. I think that boils down to one of my core philosophies of building a brand, where I think in today's day and age, brands need to be built bottom up instead of top down. What I mean by that is, for centuries, there would be Frenchmen sitting in boardrooms telling you what beauty should be. It was very top down. It was very, use this mascara, it will make you beautiful, or use this face cream, it will do this for you. I think what Indiawal did is we flipped the script, where it became about, what do you guys need? I'm not going to follow a traditional route of build a cleanser, build a moisturizer, build a serum, build a blah, 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 which maybe you guys don't need. Like, and in our focus groups, it was very clear, I don't need a moisturizer. I have a pretty good one, and I will buy that brand. Like, it does a good job. What I don't have is this. So I think building bottom up has been the game changer for us, where you really build asking them, like, it's democratizing beauty. And it's like, what do you want? And I'm going to go and then take it up and build that, and then iterate with you and fine tune it with you, and then bring it out for you. And in that process, we realized you don't need 200 SKUs. You just need 1, 2, 3, 6 that solve a problem.
Is that the real reason, or are you just like a micromanager?
That too. That too.
You'll have to pry it out of my cold dead hands. I'm never going to let go of control.
I think that adds to it. That's the cherry on top of the cake, not the cake. But yes, I'm a perfectionist, a typical Virgo perfectionist in that. And I like the product team has to literally grab it out of me to be like, no more iterations, please, no more. We need to launch. Like our shampoo and conditioner we just launched, I think took 18 months for a shampoo and conditioner, which anybody would say is the most simple thing to launch.
Is it?
But it is. It is quite simple, because a shampoo's main job is wash out. A conditioner's main job is create a soft layer on top. It's, in a formula perspective, meant to be a simple product. But we didn't want to make it a simple product. We wanted to do the same that skincare has done for face do that for hair, like the skinification of hair. Like, why can't you put amazing actives that your hair could actually benefit from instead of stripping it with horrible cleaning sulfates that are the same used in your cleaning products, you know? So we took it a step further and made it into something more complicated than it should have been. And that's really the me in it, who is like, we have to give them the best shampoo and the best conditioner in the market. Otherwise, we're not launching it. Like, I'm not in the business of putting more crap into the market. Like, even from a sustainability lens, like, put out something that you think can be better for the beauty industry, not
But you know,
another
so that's the interesting thing for me, right? Because when it comes to hair oil, when we grew up, and I grew up in the South, it's such a large part of your life. Um, Hair oil is the same for everybody. Even, dry hair, curly hair, straight hair, oily. Everybody gets the same hair oil. It's coconut oil. But shampoo and conditioner tends to be different. You know, right now people with curly hair are using different, and people with colored hair, and those who have need a dandruff treatment or a scalp treatment. So how are you tackling that? Are you coming out with a range, or is it just this is great for everybody, just use?
No, so this one that we launched is great for repair specifically. So it's for people who have split ends, bleach, or where they really like damage the shafts and the follicle of their hair. So it's really to repair that damage. So I think this one is specifically for the repair and the hydration. So it's like hair gets really dry when it's damaged. So that is the core focus of this one. Indeed, in the future, we could build one for clarifying, which is then really removing the hard water, the pollution, the kind of like that deep cleanse that your scalp would need once a week. You could create one for volume and density, where it like after using it, you could see your hair a little bit fluffier. So each one indeed has its own. But the first one we wanted to launch was on repair because Chumpy oil is such a repair oil that we thought that then the people's like range is complete when they can use the oil, the shampoo, and the conditioner together.
What's your recommendation on how often to use the oil? How do you use it?
I use it once a week on a Sunday, and hence we've created our own little IP called the Sunday Chumpy, that our whole community chumpies with us on a Sunday. And it's the best day to do it because it's that day that you can take your everything shower in really chumpy, go to your groceries or go to the gym or whatever with the chumpy on. Then come, have your Rajma chawal, wash it out, have a relaxing day. So I think for me, I usually do it on a Sunday. But for women who perhaps have a lot of heat damage or bleach, they can even do it twice to thrice a week.
So as a brand, you are more focused on we can deliver this to you at your own time in your home, as opposed to the professional hair care brands that target the salon reaching the customer.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like India World could go to salons at a later stage, but right now it's so much about just solving the problems that you have. Like that is our only core focus, is like, what problems do your hair have? We'll solve those. What problems do your skin have? We'll solve those. And we're not thinking of it yet as a brand that can be used in a facial where there's that 7-step facial products that like a La Mer or a Clinique or stuff, you can really use them for a full-fledged esthetician clinic. Like for us, it's really our community. What do you guys want? We'll create those. That's it. It's as simple as that at this current point. So
does your mom still sign off on products?
Yes. So Chumpy is really her baby. Like it's her formula. But like the eye cream, she is a big fan of the eye cream that we built and a lot of her input in that too. Next to mom, we also have a small expert board of other dermatologists, other Ayurvedic doctors, trichologists, and like formulators. So like PhD formulators, so that we really get those insights before we take it out to the market from all aspects.
So when a product says dermatologist approved, what does that mean?
So that is when you take your product to a third-party independent testing facility. So they're not affiliated with you or the brand. It's not allowed to be ever. They're third party. You send them your products and you tell them what are the claims you want or wish to have. And so, for example, in the world, let's look at our Moonlight Scalp Serum. That is a very potent peptide serum for your scalp. And so we said, hey, we want claims to show hair fall, hair growth, scalp microbiome. And next to that, we want to show how many participants saw a decrease in hair fall, etc. And we want dermatologists tested. So in this independent lab, they have a dermatologist sitting there that visually looks at a person's skin. And then you might have, say, 30 participants who come in and they look at their scalp or skin day one, they analyze it, they make the notes. The participant uses it for 30 days, and then the dermatologist analyzes them again. And so once they analyze it and they see there's no irritation, there's the stability of the formula, they see an improvement in the texture or whatever, then that means it's approved by a dermatologist. So they have monitored these people for 35 days, and then they give their sign of approval. And it's a board certified dermatologist who has to do that.
You've been on the internet now for 20 years?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
No. Well, I'd say I started 2014 properly. So about 10, 11.
Is that true? Does the internet hate women?
I don't think so. I think there's parts of the internet that hates women, and then parts of the internet are women. And so I think there's an amazing, like my community of women, I don't think hate women. I think we're very encouraging and very powerful. And I think there is definitely corners of the internet that are highly misogynistic and sometimes scary. And then they do hate women.
I feel like the misogynistic parts of the internet have expectations of what women should be.
Yeah.
And if as soon as you don't fit that expectation,
Yeah.
there's hate. So for example, in your case, why are you leading the conversation?
Yeah.
Why are you talking about running a business? Like why let the men do, do that.
You know what it is as well? What I really believe is women have evolved to who we are today. Men haven't found the new blueprint.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Like we have become these women who know our new role in the world. Like we want to be the mothers, we want to be the breadwinners, we want to have a career, we want to enjoy life. Like we're very happy in this new free world, I suppose, that we build on our own terms. But a lot of men who were told, you will be the head of the family, you will be the breadwinner, you will be the caretaker, they don't know the new blueprint next to this new form of woman. And I think because of a lack of role models who show that it's okay to be an alpha but kind, and an alpha but communicative, and an alpha but cry, they don't have enough role models that show them that new way to be a man. And so they end up going into the Andrew Tates of the world and this horrible side of the internet that says men have this certain position and women are not giving it to us anymore. Instead of evolving into that new version of what a man is. And I think that's the scary part of the internet where...
So this idea that partners, a man and a woman can be partners and they can build together.
Yeah.
So they can build a family together, they can build a home together, they can build a life together, they can build a business together. And in that partnership and equality, and they don't have to be equal.
Yeah.
But they're partners, they're equal
they
partners. They respect each other.
Yeah.
There's a great deal of winning. That communication has not gone out.
Yeah.
So a lot of times men will turn around and say, ugh, they're just never going to stop asking for more. Right? It's like, how much more do you want?
Yeah.
And you hear this a lot. You urban women, how much more? You already have everything and you're still like, asking for more. And I think that there's that missing. You're so right about the fact that there's a huge, chunk of that information is missing.
And like, we have to give it to the next generation, but they also, like, you have a son now, you will give that blueprint to him, but for the current generation of men, they need role models that show them what is this new blueprint of a man, where you can have a very powerful woman next to you, but that doesn't take away your power or identity or anything. And I think once once that happens, things will calm down a lot more.
But do you feel like the Andrew Tatism of the internet is a very dangerous thing?
Very dangerous. I think it's extremely dangerous, like not to get too political and things, but I feel like the way the world's swaying, and I mean, Mamdani is a hope, a ray of sunshine on the other side, but I think the way the world's been swaying as well, I think has a lot to do with this lack of blueprint for the new man. And I think it's extremely dangerous because when men don't know their place, and if you don't know your place, like you end up going into holes of the internet, or just being deeply dissatisfied with your life. You don't have a purpose. You don't, like, it starts stemming a lot of these ugly sides that then they don't know what to do with it. Like back in the day, they had a very clear purpose. You will take care of this family.
Yeah.
You will be the leader. You will go out and earn the money. And the woman's role is very clear. You will stay at home and take care of the kids and raise them. And now they're like, wait, you're doing that and that? What do I do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
I think also what happens is in that old idea of a man going out and being the breadwinner and being the leader of the family, and the woman holding, fort at home and looking after the kids and raising the kids, there's also a very clear idea of masculinity and femininity, the energies that both of these people bring into the household, the respect and positioning and the decision making that's cornered by one partner. And I think that that's where the mismatch is happening, because now men are saying, hey, I was told I would be respected in a certain way. I was told I would be tended to, I would be cared for in a certain way. If I, checked all these boxes, which is go to university, get a good job, and be able to, support my family, which I'm doing.
Yeah.
Why has this end of the bargain suddenly changed?
Yeah.
And why am I not getting those things that I was promised as a young person, that if you do all of these things right and don't turn out to be a good for nothing, then you'll be treated a certain way. And I think it's a social contract. Yeah,
exactly. And it's, I think, a lot of communication. I think for a modern relationship to work, I think you need to communicate to a maddening level with each other.
Yeah,
because there's so many deeply childhood, whether it's traumas, misalignments, limiting beliefs, like both partners have that. And the only way out is through, and you need to talk. And I think,
Do you carry the baggage of being, I mean, you were raised in India. And I find personally, as a woman who grew up in India, even if nobody tells me it's my job, I feel like it's my job.
yeah,
Right? So I'll panic saying, oh my God, the house is not neat. Someone just walked in. They're going to think, what sort of a woman is this?
yeah,
Why is her house
Or the
not
food.
neat? Or the food is not perfect? Or I didn't do that XYZ thing. Or there's some portion of something that is not well done and it's my fault. My child's clothes were not perfectly ironed, whatever it is, right? Yeah, all of those things. And it's conditioning. Your partner's not telling you to do it.
No.
Your partner doesn't even notice these things, but it's in your head. How do you battle that?
I think a part of it is also to let it be. And kind of, for me at least personally, because I know I'm so respected in my relationship, I also kind of say, okay, I'll take this one, you take that one, So like, he is much better at laundry, much better. Like, I have ruined too many clothes of ours. And so I'm like, you take that one, like that's yours. And I'll make sure that when we have guests over, the food is on the table in a respectful way to the guests, or like with Dua as well. Like, I very much am way more the educator, way more the one who makes sure she has her classes and has things to do. And he's way more the sports guy. He makes sure Dua's a very active and sporty young lady. And he's just taken that aspect of it. And he's also the stricter parent. So he's taken that aspect of it while I take this. So it's just, you give and take. And we both know there is a part of conditioning to us, but you accept it. And you say, yes, I do have that guilt feeling. I do feel like I need to do these roles. But at the same time, I'm really not good at those roles that should be feminine. So you please take it.
All right, Deepa. Thank you so much for speaking with me. This is fantastic.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.